Newburgh, Indiana. At one time, it was one of the biggest river ports between Cincinnati and New Orleans on the Ohio River, and it was an important stop on the Underground Railroad and the first town in the North taken over by the Confederacy. Today, the history is celebrated by a really good local museum that puts this on.
It's the Newburgh Museum Antique Market. I am here with Beth Kemper.
Hello.
And Emily and friends and all in the back there. Hello, everybody. So we are going to go see what there is in this show because one of the dealers already came out and said, I brought a couple things for you. Okay, well, we are inside the Newburgh Antique Show. It looks like they actually have a pretty full house here. So the Newburgh Museum puts this on as a museum fundraiser. The old writing desk, the rug beater, my aunt collects those. I love the old apple cores. These typically go for $50 or more. A nice Eastlake marble table. And all of this is open to offers. Old butter churn. And a really cool pram. Look at that. Victorian with the metal wheels. You can tell it really is Victorian because look at the patina. This is worn where people held it. This is dark where oxygen is built up over the years because people don't hold the bar there. That is pretty neat. And here is the wicker stroller from the same era. They do seem like they have a crowd of people here, which is great to see. These are fun. These are Levi's advertisements for $79 each from the 1980 Olympic Games that, well, the games happened, but we were not there. This one is the Australian swimmer for $99. This represents the continent of Africa, track and field. Yes, the Moscow Games were great for the people who actually participated, but 65 countries boycotted them because of the invasion of Afghanistan. That didn't turn out well for the Soviets in any way.
Is this your booth? Yeah.
Oh, and look at that beautiful suit. Wow. Hennessy Robinson, so this must have been a local outfit.
You like it, I'll make it better.
Made in Evansville from about 1915. That is very much of the era in terms of style. And then they have some nice quilts here. Great colors here. A lot of these are 1930s vintage. I especially like this one with the compass style pattern. Button, who's got the button? Well, this dealer has a lot of them. A lot of mother of pearl. And people like these to restore old clothes with. Some people just collect buttons as well. Here's a bunch of them on the original cards. Buttons for men's garments. Good graphic on that. The heart-shaped pincushion is neat. Somebody would have sewn that up. The million needle case from about 1900. They have a lot of cool fashion in this space. Look at these. These are gorgeous. Look at the detail on the front of these shoes. Black kid leather from Park Brannock in Syracuse, New York. Those were high style from probably around, well, let's see. They're not high. The shape of the heel, I'd say 1920. They are leather. They're in great condition. Here are the Paul Parrott leather lace-ups, a little taller, also from about 1920. And here's another pair. These are children's shoes. Look at the steel bead on those. Edwin Bunk of New York. This is going to be something from, again, about 1910. Really neat to see in such good condition. It's one of these turn-lock Art Nouveau purses in here. 65 is a pretty good price on that. Especially because the strap is in good shape. Nice design. You could do a little leather polish to darken it. But the turn lock is the thing that's interesting on these because the only way you can get into it is to turn this first. Oh, she had it open. Okay. Yeah, you turn it like that and then press. And that was your locking mechanism. And a lot of people don't know that and then they can't figure out how to open these. That has the original person's name inside there too. Someone in Chicago. That's cool. This is really cool. This is hand-painted porcelain, and it's a clock on a chain. This is European. There's the winding mechanism. Has an 1891 patent number. This would have hung on the wall. That's the reason for the chain. It's priced at $175. You do not see those very often. Easter paper mache container. Look at the face on this little disc dog. That's just cute as can be. Cypress by Davenport. Davenport was one of the big important companies in English ironstone back in the 19th century, and that's a nice mulberry ware. It's great. That makes me so happy. He's so silly. That's excellent. Is that salt and pepper?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. At least it comes out of the head.
Yes. That's a good point.
Puppy class. I've never seen this print by Trude before. $65. That's very cute. That looks like it's from about 1910. This was about as interlocking as any of the old puzzles were. You can tell by the style of lithography and the goat. This is from about 1910 or 20. Goat and cow, so the cow must be on the other side. $42.95. Cute Christmas collectibles. I've always liked these with this netting. It's paper mache with the netting. These are Japanese. This one's a topper, priced at $82. But they have a bunch of the little ornaments as well. These would just wire to a package or the tree. And they have several of those. And they are priced at $59 each. Really don't see those very often. Silk tiger is pretty cool. The tiger does represent courage. I'd be scared if I saw that. Ironstone pitchers here of various shapes. Early 1900 shapes on the left here with this sort of ovoid shape. This one is Meakin, and it has the mark on it, and this is going to be sometime in the 1890 era. The Panama Canal was one of the wonders of the world when it was completed. It took a long time to complete it. The French tried to start it. Malaria was so bad they couldn't get it done. Finally, we made a deal where we helped Panama get independence from Colombia in exchange for being able to put the canal across it. This is a 1939 souvenir. Some golden and silver age comics here, 1950s and 60s. Sea devils. Tarzan is actually more common than you would think. Sergeant Fury, 1970. Texas Rangers in action. War Heroes and U.S. Air Force comics. I haven't seen that before. A lot of books here. These are very cute international dolls. This is before they were dolls of the world, because these are composition. The dolls of the world were made of plastic. Armand Marseille, this needs some cleaning, but that is a decent price at $75 for a restoration project. She's got some china heads as well. I like the gown this one's wearing. Hartwig from Germany. The blonde china head. You don't see blonde as much as the dark hair. Oh, interesting. I just got one of these. These are Bavarian bunnies, and I did not know exactly what I had, but I got one that was similar to this skier. I think mine is on a sled or something. They're asking $42 and $22 for the bowler, so that's good to know. And then some nice costume jewelry here. I especially like this piece. It just says vintage rhinestone flower pin, but it's really well made. This one is a Sarah Coventry. 1968 is when those came out. 35 on the rhinestone star. The bigger wreath is more because of size. And then this is a pretty piece here. Looks a lot like Florenza. This is a very handsome piece, this Roseville sand jar. I really like the tall trees. This looks like something that would sell well in the Northwest. It's priced at $345. It's a nice large size and not an easy piece to find. And then of course you see the stag and hound on the front. These little concertinas or small accordions are in wonderful condition from about 1920. Priced in the $200 to $235 range. I do like this Stein. Steins originally had lids because during the time of the bubonic plague, it occurred to people that flies might be helping spread disease, so they started putting lids on things. This is Metlock, which is Villery and Bach's name for their vaunted Stein line. Metlock Steins are some of the most collected now. These are from about 1900, 1910. This one has all the characters in relief. And the price is $169, it says in there. This next space has some good union cases. That's the holders for these. Oh, and they do have the tin types in them. Oval is a little more interesting shape, $95. Looks like the couple with both of their pictures in. That's also a little more unusual. You typically only see one person. And then there's a later case. Look at that lovely dress. That's priced at $85. This is my friend James. He says he has some stuff for me, so after he's done with our customer here, we'll take a look. I'm curious to see. He always has really neat stuff. I like the ceramic birds sitting inside the frame. These are Seminole dolls from Florida. $35 each on those. This one seems a little bit older. In the back here, he's got a lot of neat stuff, but I especially love the black cat stand. That is just fun. Look at that face. Here's some of the things he wanted to point out to me. This is Blenko, and it's a little different because the bubbles are not as controlled. They're more elongated. If it didn't have the label from the 1980s, you might think that this was Bischoff glass, but it is actually Blenko. And it is two-tone, amber at the bottom and green on the edges. Oh yes, Sascha Brastoff instead of the Mark Adams. Yep, $18. That's a pretty good price on that, actually. He's got some really neat stuff. I like this Italian piece with the riggery. And that has nice controlled bubbles. That looks 1950s. He gave me a little deal. He said $20. I'm going to take it for that. He said $10 for me on the Sascha. And you know, I don't think I have that tray. I think I'll take that too. This is clearly hand painted because you can see it's not exactly even. The cartouches are not all the same. And that tells you it's got some age. The colors are Imari. This is going to be from about sometime around the turn of the 20th century or just before. And $85 is a good price for the size. And my friend says it's been a good show. Here's a nice coverlet with an 1861 date. Chip mirror that was very popular around the early 1900s. Blue Ridge leaf dish there for $35. If you're having fun watching this video, please click thumbs up to let YouTube know. Please do subscribe if you haven't, because then you can click the bell to be notified of future videos, and follow us on all our adventures to fun shows, appraisal fairs, estate sales, and other events all over North America. This is a great screen, actually. This looks like 19 teens or 20s. Is that Cruel? Yeah, very nice fabric. Is this, this isn't a Lloyd's loom, is it?
That table?
Yeah.
No idea. I bought it out of an estate in Madisonville, Kentucky.
Madisonville, really? Oh, interesting. Yeah, it looks 1920s. I don't think it's a Lloyd's loom because of the colors, but it sure got the quality of it.
It's natural wicker.
Natural wicker, yeah. Yeah, really neat. How much is that piece? $250. That seems not bad for a nice side table. Big console like that. Yeah, you do get cool stuff. It's really fun to see. He's even got a few pieces of pottery here. Some Roseville, and then this. I've always liked this color. This looks like one of the Midwest companies, and I don't know who that is. I see the Weller up here. I don't see the gloss that often. Johnson Brothers Rose Chintz is a very popular pattern. When you see it all together, it's really beautiful. This is nice. It's a snack tray with the indentation for the coffee cup. Some nice little enamelware there. There's a great old trunk vase in that really, really fun electric blue opalescent that they did around 1910. $40 seems like a good price for that color. Look at this wonderful wicker lamp with the fringe here. This is great. This looks like something out of the 1920s. In really wonderful condition, too. Nice tulip applique. And of course the wedding ring quilt, a favorite of mine. An old school birdhouse, $45. Here's some nice Majolica pieces, and an unusual one is the oyster plate in the back there from about 1880. Look at the wonderful sea life in between the places for the oyster shells. That was right when oysters started to be available to more people because of refrigeration on trains. That one's very cute as well. This is English from about 1890, priced at $85. This is a fairing. Small items made in Staffordshire that were given out as prizes or sold at fairs. This one is a cute little box. It may have even had a mirror in it originally. I love the cat and the boy on the teeter-totter. That's very fun, $150. This piece is gaudy Welsh. There was gaudy Dutch and then gaudy Welsh, and these were done in England. There's a little bit of early copper luster on here. These are pieces done around the 1840s and lots of Imari colors. That one's priced at $225. They have a lot of older Rockingham glazed ceramics as well. And some wonderful samplers and cross stitches. The Lord is My Shepherd. This is Victorian in an Adirondack frame from about 1880. There's a nice sampler there in some sort of a needlepoint. This one here is definitely older, and you know how you can tell is because look between HI and then K. There is no J. They did not cipher J separately than I until sometime in the early 1800s. Ann Hendricks did this. It's priced at $225. And it should date back to about 1820 approximately. Another very pretty wicker piece. A lot of wicker here today, but it is spring, so we actually expect to see that more. And here's a very nice oyster set where you have the plates as well as the big master oyster server. A little bit more unusual because it's a rectangular shape rather than a round. No mark on the back. These are probably French from Limoges from about 1890. I always like these, and this is a nice old one, a hanging spice shelf, priced at $145. It looks like pyrography stamped with a hot stamp with all of the names of the different spices that you would have in there. A nice little decayed lamb critter that would have been in someone's yard for a long time. A rather crude number 2 jug, which I like. This is an interesting drain board. The feet are made of iron. This is a handmade primitive. That's one of the great things about primitives is no two are alike. This one is priced at $159. Some cute celluloid farm animals and swans and a dog at $5 each from the 1930s. Here's something that's local interest. These are sidewalk markers here. That one's priced at $125 with the acorn. And this one, horseshoe, of course. And then Anchor Paving Company did this one. Halloween sells year-round, $65 on this. This all folds down with honeycomb, and then all of those hands and feet and claws come out. Very cool. Nice grouping of Christmas items here. We have celluloid. We have pipe cleaner designs. This one has a ceramic face, so that's a little older. And then we have a very nice Santa chocolate mold in the back. A useful thing here, this display cabinet from about 1925. Hello, everyone. You could put that on your wall if you're restoring an old home. Here are some neat pieces of Mary Hadley. They are back in business, but they're not making a lot of these pieces that were discontinued when they temporarily went out of business a couple of years ago. The big flower canisters, $85. Really like the candlesticks. They're very somehow mid-century modern, which is not something you think of with Mary Hadley very often. Well, this is fun. Fire water. $30. And then down here they have a bunch of other pieces. The horses, of course, are very popular in this area. I like the child's mugs where you drink down to the end and it says the end. Bird bowl is fun. A bunch of Fire King jadeite here. I like the maple leaf. You have the old C-handled mugs. Those are the thicker ones for cafe ware, and then the D-handled were more often for home use, although you did see them sold institutionally. This is a nice size pitcher for $50. Panthers. Green glass eyes in this little one for $45, and then the big one, it's just a figure, not a TV lamp. That one's priced at $65. This is a very attractive and complete 1930s spice set. You don't see the black so often. $145 on that. Oh, look at the very pretty watch fob. That's Victorian there with all the design right in the middle. Next to a really neat moonstone watch fob. She's going to let me open the case and show you folks a few things. This is our friend who also sells at New Harmony, so I hope to get to see her in a couple of months there in Indiana. This is very pretty with all the encrusted design, and it's glass stones, but they look like turquoise and coral with the butterfly. This is a nice crown pin from about 1970. I've sold that one before. This, they say, is signed and only $7. It's rather abstract. Fun piece from about 1960. I like this bow here. I like this bow here too. I like the clear. That way you see the color of whatever outfit you're wearing behind it. $39 on the crystal bow pin. Some very nice purses. We see steel mesh, but I like this. Isn't that cute with the leather?
Have you ever seen anything like this? Because I tested it for Bakelite, and when I bought it, I thought, well, that's Bakelite, but it didn't.
And it turned out not to test.
Amber?
I don't believe it's amber either, and it looks amber the way it's made. I had the same experience. It's plastic. It's nice.
It's old plastic.
It's old plastic,
Yeah.
and it's a good piece. It's probably it might be nylon, like the old pop beads.
Phenol.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all hand tied, but it looks like Bakelite, but it doesn't test. You're absolutely right. These folks have fun stuff. I have this same dog for sale. Royal Copley bear next to it. Oh, isn't that interesting? The Q-Tex with all the stuff in it. Yes, your polish and your powder and all of that good stuff. That is very cute. And I like that.
I wonder how much of it might be, you know.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily use it now, but cool. And that looks like it's from maybe 1925 or 30.
Wow.
That's neat. Susie Petite, New York. Original nylons in the box. $3. Wow, that seems like a good price for a pair of nylons. 100% nylon, and back then, yeah, you had to have the garter. I also have this, the robotics system from Lego. This is 1980s. This actually sells for pretty good money. If it's complete, they're over $100. What I like the best in your booth is this pink stool, because we never see pink. I know it needs to be cleaned up, but we see red and yellow and beige all the time. Around the same time as Mary Mushroom, Sears had this set made and imported as well. The Victorian-looking woman doing all of her chores. Very cute set from the 70s. Krogman, established 1863. That's a pretty neat crock. It has a little bit of damage, but they're still asking $225 because that's a local interest thing. Agates dipped in gold. That's something different. $29.50 on that. Just love the 1950s lamp. What a great style. I'm sure there was a man that went with her at one time, but she could certainly stand on her own, and she's only $29.50. I am seriously tempted to get her. My sisters had this pogo stick when we were little. They only want $17.50. I wanted it desperately, and by the time it was passed down to me, I was too big to use it. The wagon wheel at $69 is a good price too. I like the red paint. But the important thing is it's an old one from about 1920, and that's a good size for that price. Some nice table linens they have here too, and they're neatly prepared. I have people who ask me why I don't show more primitives. Well, now I'm in the part of the country where I'm actually likely to find some. Nice big tall wooden churn for only $125. That seems like a really good price for that with the porcelain knob and the original plunger. Lots of these shaker style boxes in the $50 to $100 range. This is a pie safe here. Then I look for the thing that doesn't belong. Is this Viking? It's only $10. I'm not sure Viking did this. I think it might be Dalzell Viking, their successors. Peter Boots in the corner store in Medford, Wisconsin. This is nice because it has the lid. When you bake, try me. When you buy, try Peter Bootsland. $47.50. Here's the whole Aunt Jemima set by F&F Plastics out of Columbus. You've got the big cookie jar. You've got the syrup pitcher in the back, the range size salt and pepper, the small salt and pepper, and the recipe box. The recipe box is something you don't see often either. That's why it's priced at $240. Cookie jars can sell for that much as well. Nice prices on the beaded purses, $55 and $75. $55 on the black one. Some exercise weights. I like this. This is the timbre front, like a roll top, and this has the calendar in it. This is basically your little home office setup. You can have your pens here. You change the date this way. You have your lap desk here. You can put your papers behind a file. There it is with the nice textured leather with the gilding. A place for your pens. And a little drawer underneath, $245. That's going to date to about 1900. Enameled coffee pots. Now the brown one is American, priced at $132. This one is European, but I really like the design. It looks like 1870s or so for $92. This couple is Shearwater Pottery out of Mississippi, back when they used to do black memorabilia pieces. And it's a great price at $37. It does look like the foot's been repaired though. This piece here is a scrub box, $115. You can tell that was used for maybe close to a century. A couple of different stereo viewers. One with this interesting faux textured fake copper look, which was popular around 1910 for $45. And then this one has the aluminum with the scroll work and the felt so you wouldn't bash your head on it. Then they have a whole box of stereo cards to look through. So fun thing for collectors. A traveling spice box. These are great store displays too. Stolzenbach Bakery in Zanesville, Ohio for crackers and cakes. Here is a sugar setup. You've got the sugar cutter. You have a cone of sugar, so that's what sugar looked like when it came to you. And then you could strain it through there. And the seed box here is cool. Rush Park Seed Company. Independence, Iowa. We're getting to gardening season, and that's when things like this sell. This is cute. This is the Strum Fun Guitar by Mattel. Plays Darling Clementine and a bunch of other songs because you put the disc in and then you turn it, so it's really like a music box. They want $75 for that complete. I've never seen this wagon before. The Frontier Prairie Wagon. That's cool. $95. I wonder who made that. Let's see if we can find out. Well, I don't see a maker name, but the graphics are just great. And then there's this guy. This is really cool. The cutout bunny in wood, 1930s. And this one is made in Hampton, Connecticut by H.H. Hill Brass Company. In the Depression era, companies that made metalwork were trying to find other reasons to use their product, so they made things like this. These folks have a very handsome booth with a lot of hand tools on this side. Nice machinist chest as well there. A lot of these are worth looking for. If you're going to estate sales and you're walking by chisels and things, there are a lot of woodworkers who like the old pieces, especially with rosewood handles. You see prices around $25 each on those. This one's made of boxwood. A lot of these are from the early 1900s. Each one has a different shape or a different use. And the people who do this sort of handwork, well, they're coming out of the woodwork, so to speak. There's actually a new generation that seems to be taking that on. $69 on the Stanley plane in the box. Having the box really makes a difference. Lots of wood block planes. Really like the boat wheel there. People buy these as decoration. Under $20 is about the right price for that one. Here's some earlier Stanley planes. The number 20 in the middle is from the late 1800s. You see the Stanley name here, and then the Victor name here. This one on the left, this says it's a circular plane, which makes sense if you look at the way it's shaped. Again, each plane had a different purpose as well. This is a very nice molding plane here, a rather complicated one. Boxwood with ivory. Brass maritime lantern. Brass is not something we see often in lanterns, and they tend to sell for more, and they usually were associated with ships because they wouldn't rust. That's why you also see the fire nozzle made of brass, along with the plumb bobs there. Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railroad, a more obscure railroad. $69 is a good price when you get into something that's a little harder to find. There's the initials for the railroad on the side there. And then they have a lot of pattern glass oil lamps. We see so many utility lamps from the 20th century that are clear. But if you look at these, you'll notice how different the designs are. This one is neat because it's got the, they call it cable and dart. It looks like window panes to me, but there's your darts. This one is by Westmoreland. Yes, the same Westmoreland that made all that milk glass in the 20th century. They were around in the 1890s making lamps and other things. They do sell for more typically if they have color. I like this with the pink spatter glass. They said this is called peppermint flash. This is a very popular pattern in its time, and I love the color. It's called Aquarius. Interesting base with the pressing and then the square center. More interesting crocks here. I like this one in the middle, the Wayman and Brothers. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Butter crock is neat too with the lid. And they call that wildflower, that design there. These are denim. Oftentimes you see the denim bunnies, which were reproduced in the 1980s. But this is the lilies, the water lilies. You don't see that pattern as much. These rules are made of ivory back when that was the material you used. And that's why they are priced high. These are antique. In some places you can sell these. In other places it's difficult depending on the laws. The ivory hammer with claw is a really unusual piece for $225. Typically we see them made like this with wood and brass. I like this one that's a shoe measured. That's something different. A couple of very handsome late 19th century metal inkwells. This one's a Bradley and Hubbard. Somewhere on it it'll have the B&H mark. And look, there's even a little place for matches in there. And then this one has the double ink stand with the cross in the center, priced at $135. I was hoping in the one of these things does not look like the other vein that I might get a deal on these because they're Higgins out of Chicago and they're 1960s crate fused glass, but they know what they've got. These folks have a couple of Jules anvils that are really neat. $52 for the one on the base there. $48 on that. Anvils of all sizes are very popular now. A lot of people doing metal work again want them. And then finger planes, little miniature ones for small applications. You see prices from $17 to $78. These squirrel planes, called that because they have that big handle that looks like a squirrel's tail, are rather unusual to find. I'm not sure why a wheelbarrow merits having an airplane painted on it, but they definitely both have a streamlined design from the 30s. And this one is priced at $85. There's an old-time insect sprayer where you put the poison in it yourself, $75. They look neat when you polish up the brass. This is one of the scarcer Disney items you're ever going to see, made by the Climax Company, Hamilton Manufacturing out of Hamilton, Ohio. This is the Mickey Mouse tool chest, 1920s era. Look at the condition. It is really, really clean. Wasn't beaten up much. They're out camping. Great graphics. This is going to date to right about 1932 because you have WDE, Walt Disney Enterprises, rather than Productions, and you have Pluto, and Pluto was introduced in 1931. That is just a really cool piece. This is a doorstop of a shape I haven't seen before, only priced at $50.
This is from Dimes.
Yes.
And she has 6-foot table with 2 leaves and 6 chairs, 2 campus chairs. This He's on the bottom of that trail.
It's so impressive because he does it in the old-fashioned way. I mean, it's about as authentic to colonial furniture as it could be. I don't remember what he charges for these new, but they're expensive.
Well, she just sent me a picture of some for sale, and it was 6 chairs, and it was over $4,000.
Yeah. That seems about right. It might take a while to find somebody who understands who he is, who would want it without saying, I'll just go to him and have him do one for me. He's done stuff for museum. His family has done this for, I think he's like great-great-grandfather.
Second generation in this business, but he's 4th generation in furniture making.
Well, really neat to see. It's something different. This is a really cool piece too. This is a chicken feeder. And somebody made it by hand. They used some old wainscot board and leather strap, and you just did what you had to around the farm. $88, I think that's a pretty good price on that. It would work perfectly fine for feeding chickens today. Oh, that's fun.
And they're the stand.
The show is over. People are starting to shut down, and I am going to shut down for now too. But come see me again somewhere in our adventures as we crisscross North America looking for cool things in antiques and vintage.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.